Welcome back to Real Talk Fitness, the podcast where we go beyond reps, diets, and gym talk and dive deep into the real stuff. The mindset, the growth, the emotions that come with trying to better yourself in and out of the gym. I'm your host, Ashley Cummins, a coach, mum, business owner, and founder of ANPT. And today we're going behind the scenes of something huge. Our very first ANPT Fitness Retreat in Bali. This isn't the highlight reel, this is the real story. From where I sit, the highs, the heartbreak, the lessons, and the truth about what it means to lead, to break, and to grow. So let's dive in. Leading up to the retreat, I was running on fumes. Months of planning, countless details, juggling clients, staff, family, all to make sure this trip was unforgettable. And deep down, I wanted it to be perfect. But as I sat there on the first night surrounded by laughter and connection, I had this moment where I thought, we did it. From starting in my shed with nothing but a dream to taking clients overseas, it was surreal. Every doubt, every long night, every am I doing the right thing, it all led us to here. I'm going to go into what I learned about myself, what people don't see on the surface, the reality of leadership, and how it made others feel, the lessons it taught me, and what I'll carry home forever. I learnt more about myself in that couple of days than I have in years. I realised how much I've trained myself to be a robot. The fixer, the organiser, the strong one. The one who always holds it together no matter what. And somewhere along the way, I forgot that I'm human too. And I feel others may have forgotten that too. I wanted everything to run so perfectly. Every workout, every transfer, every dinner, every photo, every moment. And for most part, it did. But behind the scenes, I was constantly on. Making sure everyone felt supported. Making sure no one saw me waver. There were times I just needed 5 minutes to breathe, to sit quietly and catch up to myself. But that pressure to hold it together kept me going until by the last day, I was done, completely exhausted. From the outside, for most, it looked seamless, but internally, I was drained, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And when I finally got home, I just broke, not out of weakness, but from a release. I cried because I felt everything, the pride, the gratitude, the exhaustion, the love. On the last dinner, I would have loved to be able to stay there and celebrate with everybody. And instead, I had to walk away. I walked away crying, not out of anything but a bit of exhaustion, frustration, and everything in between. It was a lot. And in that breakdown, I realized something really powerful. That I don't have to be a machine to lead. I don't always have to be perfect. Those that have compassion will understand. And those that don't, that's also okay. I don't have to always hide my emotions to earn respect. Real leadership is having the courage to feel it all and still show up anyway. I learned that it's knowing that you can be strong and you can be soft. And that's where the real growth is. Something I've learned the hard way, not everyone will ever understand what goes on behind the scenes. They see the sunset workouts, the laughs, the highlight moments, but they don't see the pressure, the quiet decision making, the sleepless nights, the moment you question if you're enough. And the truth is, not everyone will have compassion for the parts that didn't go perfectly. They will see it from their own perspective, and that's okay. Because I've learnt that throughout these 5 days overseas with 19 of our members is that I'm not perfect. I'm not a robot. I have emotions, frustrations, and feelings just like everybody else. Some people will only see the cracks, see what didn't go right. About 10% of people weren't happy, and for the few days up until today, it's consumed me. Because when you pour your whole heart into something, one piece of negativity feels louder than the 100 positives. I replayed everything over and over, asking what could have I done differently? Until I realized no matter how hard you try sometimes, not everyone will see your heart. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that I failed. That's the reality. Leadership isn't about making everyone happy. It's about standing firm in your truth, even when you're misunderstood. I felt that. I felt that for the first retreat, it wasn't all going to run smoothly. And that I really learned that I'm not a robot. As much as I put on this facade and try to be, by the end of the last day, I realized that I have emotions too, and my feelings are also valid. So to anybody that looks up to anybody else in any leadership role, just know that those guys have feelings too. That it doesn't always look the way it seems. And it's about staying kind even when it hurts. It's about knowing that my intentions were good and letting that be enough. This retreat has really taught me that you can give your everything and still have people who won't get it. But in the same sentence, I can never let this stop me from giving my all again. Because your heart is your strength, not your weakness. But despite all of that, the impact was incredible. The women who came home from Bali were different, lighter, calmer, and more connected to themselves. I've had messages that still make me emotional. Women saying how much it changed how they saw themselves, the confidence, the peace, the purpose. And that's what it was all about. Not just Bali, not just workouts, but belonging. Creating a space where women could just be real, open, supported, and free. And that included me. As much as I was the leader, the organizer, the one that was expected to hold it all together, the one that was probably expected not to have emotions, it also taught me that I'm allowed, just like everybody else. This time has also taught me that I can't be everything to everyone, and I don't need to be. My role is to lead with truth, not performance. I'm not expected to be perfect. I realize just how powerful it is to create a space where people drop the mask, connect deeply, and remember who they are. That's the magic of this work. It's not just fitness, it's freedom. This retreat has also taught me that connection always beats perfection. That leadership isn't control, it's presence. That even when things don't go perfectly, the heart behind it matters more than the details. Watching women laugh, cry, and come alive reminded me what ANPT really stands for. Strength, community, and growth that runs so much deeper than a barbell. And for me, it was very humbling. It reminded me that my own growth comes from the moments that stretch me. That no matter how much I plan or prepare, the real lessons come from what I feel along the way. Coming home, I felt a mix of pride, gratitude, and peace. I realized this retreat wasn't just a business milestone, it was a personal one. Proof that dreams evolve when you have the courage to keep showing up, even when it's messy. We built something in Bali that can't be explained, only experienced. It reminded me that what we're building at ANPT is bigger than fitness. It's movement of women who choose to grow, who choose to face their fears and choose themselves. And that's the heart of Real Talk Fitness podcast. Having a real conversation about what it takes to grow, to change, and to keep going when things aren't perfect. To every woman who come to Bali, thank you. You reminded me that leadership isn't about being flawless. It's about being real. Those that see me for who I truly am, had compassion. I'm thankful. I'm forever thankful. Please hear me when I say this. Your heart matters. Your energy matters. And your journey is shaping you in ways you can't even see yet. This is just the beginning. What people don't see is how much coming home, the retreat broke me in a way I didn't see coming. Not because anything went entirely wrong, but because the first time in a long time, I had nowhere to hide behind the coach, the leader, or organizer. It stripped me back to me. In those quiet moments after everyone had gone to bed, or I'd stepped away for a breath, I could feel it building. That emotional wall I've held up for years. This is really emotional and I'm trying not to cry, but the one that says you have to be strong, I have to have it all together. You can't let anyone see you break. But eventually, I'm not gonna lie, that wall cracked. On the last day, when the noise stopped and the energy settled, I finally let it all hit me. The pride, the exhaustion, the relief, the weight of holding space for so many people. And I cried, not just a few times, not just a few tears, the kind of cry that comes from your chest, the one that says you've been doing and holding this for too long. And in that release, I realized something so powerful. I can't be everything to everyone. And I don't need to be. I spent years trying to fill every gap, fix every problem, make sure no one ever feels disappointed or uncomfortable. But that kind of pressure only led me to where I am now, to burnout. And it robs me of everything that makes me feel special. My role as a leader or the founder of ANPT isn't to be perfect. It's to be real. To lead with truth, not performance. I've learned that I can show strength and softness can exist in the same person. That I can have a room full of people and still have moments where I fall apart doesn't make me weak. It doesn't make me a bad human. I've really learned I'm not a robot. And those that have compassion and understand and value ANPT as a brand, understand. They've come back with their hearts full. I realized how powerful it is to create a space where you can drop the mask. And this has taught me that includes me too. I don't have to pretend everything's okay. Because when people feel safe enough to be themselves, that's when transformation actually happens. And again, it's the same for me. For so long, I've built a safe space for others, but I didn't know how to create one for myself. These breakdowns taught me that I deserve that same safety, that same compassion, that I can hold space for others and I still need that space held for me. This has also reminded me that being a leader doesn't mean having all the answers. It means willing to sit in the uncertainty with others and say, I don't have to have it all figured out. But I'm here with you. In ANPT, it's about community. It's not about who's the fittest or strongest. It's about who's willing to show up authentically, love deeply, and grow through the hard stuff together, including me. It sounds so simple, but for someone like me, this has been one of the hardest lessons to learn. That I'm not always going to make everyone happy, and that has to be okay. And somewhere along the way, I've convinced myself that if everyone wasn't happy, I was failing. I built my entire life around showing up for people, making sure everyone feels seen, supported. This is really raw for me and cared for, but I forgot about me. It sounds so simple, but I don't just lead with my head, I lead with my heart. And when someone doesn't see the intention behind what I do, it hurts. I replay it in my mind, I question myself, I twist it until it becomes so heavy. But if anyone's ever listened to Mel Robbins and she talks about the let them theory, if people misunderstand you, let them. If they judge you, gossip, or create stories that aren't true, let them. If they choose not to see your heart, also let them. My biggest takeaway is the only person I control is me. I can't control people's perception, only my integrity. And my integrity in my heart has always been there. When I got home and got off the plane, that let them moment hit me hard. It was like permission to breathe again. Permission to stop trying to manage everyone else's feelings and simply stand grounded in who I am. To trust that the right people will always feel my energy, even if they don't fully understand it. And then another layer came off. And I allowed myself to let me feel proud. Let me rest. Let me grow from this without guilt. Let me be human. I learned that it isn't about fixing how others see me. It's about being so anchored in my purpose that I don't crumble when someone doesn't get it. It's about letting people have their experience while I stay true to mine. So yes, I've walked away with so many lessons deeper than just the sunsets and just the workouts. The things that people don't see, that some people will misunderstand me. When you break down the walls of me just being your coach or being the organizer of this or being the strong one, that some people will misunderstand me. They won't like every decision I make, and some will quietly judge from the sidelines. But what it's taught me is let them. Because my energy is better spent leading with honesty, love, and intention than constantly trying to chase everybody's validation that I'll never be able to control. And that's what this retreat gave me, clarity. A reminder that I don't need to be everything to everyone. My role isn't to be perfect. It's to create spaces where people can drop the mask and remember who they truly are. And in this process, I get to remember who I am too. For years, I've carried this invisible pressure to get everything right, to make everyone happy. The person people can rely on, the person who fixes things, the one who never lets anyone down. And because of that, even if one person isn't happy, it cuts deep, it feels personal, it feels like a failure. The part people don't see, the part that happens after everyone's gone home, when I sit quietly and replay every moment in my head. What, did I say the wrong thing? Could have I done more? Did I let someone down? Why wasn't that enough? I beat myself up more than anyone ever could. And this is because I care so much. I wear my heart on my sleeve. And when someone doesn't see my effort, it's easy to slip into that mindset that I've failed. Over the past couple of days, I've had moments sitting alone where I've felt completely deflated. Like all the planning, the energy, the love I poured in somehow wasn't enough. And that thing is what hurts the most. Feeling like no matter what I do, I'll never be enough. But in Bali, I had to face that truth. I had to let it go. I've realized that the constant self-punishment, the endless chasing of approval of everyone is keeping me stuck. It's silencing me. And I'm doing the best that I can with what I've got. Because the truth is I haven't failed. I've grown. I've learned where my limits are. How to lead without losing myself in the process. I've learned that not everyone will understand, and that doesn't mean I need to change. So yes, just like you guys listening, I beat myself up. I overthink. I question if I'm enough. But every time I come through this, I come out on the other side. I realize it's in these moments right now that shape me the most. They remind me that my power doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being real. Because at the end of the day, that's what ANPT is really about. I don't talk a lot about personally why I think the way I think, but I think a lot of this comes from where I started, coming from nothing, building something from the ground up, always fighting to prove that I wasn't a failure. When you've built your dream brick by brick, every setback feels personally. You take every comment, every misunderstanding as proof that maybe I'm still not good enough. Because deep down, I'm still that person who had a dream and didn't want to let anyone down. This retreat taught me something I didn't expect. I'm not responsible for other people's perceptions. I can pour my whole heart into something, lead with integrity, and still have people who don't see it. And this really doesn't mean I failed. It means I've cared. I care that deeply that the hurt leads to that cycle of beating myself up, convincing that what I've done wasn't enough. I can't fix every opinion, but I can keep showing up with honesty and love. Because at the end of the day, this has taught me that my worth isn't defined by how people see me. It's defined by how I continue to show up, even when they don't. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Real Talk Fitness with ANPT. If you've ever felt like a failure, if you've ever sat there questioning yourself because someone judged you or misunderstood your heart, this is my advice from mine to yours. You're not responsible for how others choose to see you. You can give everything you have, lead with love, show up with integrity, and still have people twist it, question it, or overlook it. And if you've ever listened to any of Mel Robbins' podcasts or read her book, let them. Because their perception isn't your truth. Their story about you isn't the full story. You need to know that the effort you gave, know your intentions, and have that belief that that has to be enough. Stop replaying every moment trying to fix what you can't control. You don't need to shrink yourself to make others comfortable or overprove your worth to earn their approval. You're already enough, even when it's messy, even when it's misunderstood. If there's one thing that I've learned, the people meant for you will feel your heart without you needing to explain it. And those who don't, they were never your responsibility to convince. So breathe, be proud, and keep showing up with truth, not performance. Because the world doesn't need the perfect version of you. The world needs the real one. Until next time, keep it real.